let's talk about some of the different things that's happening as we get closer and closer to the draft. And one of the things, Jaxson Dart did the about face. I can't think of a time that someone committed to attend the draft and then decommitted to attending the draft. It's like the draft was Tennessee and not going to the draft was Texas. I'm surprised that was happened. I'm surprised it happened, and especially because when you look at the betting odds, and who knows how much stock to put in those, Chris, it looks like he's going round one.
Right.
So I don't think this is something he did because he got some information that none of the 32 teams will be drafting him on Thursday night. He's going to do a free fall through round one.
This is a year where I don't know if I would buy into some of the betting odds. I don't think the public knows what's going to happen here in this one. I think this is a different one. I've said this. You've said this. It feels a year that to me is comparable to the Kenny Pickett year. With Willis, and I'm blanking on his first Malik Willis, and right.
Matt Corral. Yeah.
And Matt Corral. It feels like that. It feels like the league is letting everybody think these guys are so good. Yeah, we might take them because they got eyes on other people. So I don't know if I believe the odds in this one. The fans want to believe that quarterbacks should go in the first round no matter what. We know that. I think it is a little peculiar that he accepted at first and then a few days later declines. I mean, to me, in my spidey senses, that tells me that, yes, they just made a decision where they were like, listen, we don't know if you're going to be drafted in the first round. We don't have a team right now for you, right? And do you want to be, because you're a quarterback, and let's just say Shedeur does go off the board at 9, you're going to be the next quarterback everybody's going to put the camera in. And, is he going to go to the Steelers at 21? Is somebody going to trade up at 25? Is somebody going to trade up at 28? And it's just going to be on him and on him and on him. And then it could filter into the next day. And that's a tough look sometimes. And I feel like between, the unknown status of how this first round will go, when Shedeur Sanders goes, and the fact that I get the sense that there's a lot of teams that have very similar grades between Jaxson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, and Tyler Shuck. The grades are very the same. I don't know if there's a panic to go trade up to get these guys. And that's what I'm going to be interested to see here 3 days away from now, and it's going to be a great part of that night.
And the other basic reality beyond the skill, perceived or otherwise, of the incoming quarterbacks is the fact that there isn't a large cluster of got to get a quarterback team.
Exactly. That's the other part,
We got the
Mike.
Saints. We got the Steelers. We got the Giants, kind of. The Browns, maybe.
Right.
The Saints and Steelers are the only two that are quarterback needy right now. And there are some who believe that there's still a secret agreement in place between the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, which would diminish their need even after he spoke on Thursday. There are some who think he's already decided he's going there, and it's just a matter of time before he goes. If that's the case, that diminishes the Steelers' need a little bit. The Saints are the only ones where you would say they're currently screwed. They got to do something. Everybody else at least has someone they can go forward with.
Yeah, exactly right. And as we know, the Saints have some holes in their roster. They're trying to build for the future here a little bit. The Derek Carr situation, I know, is a little unknown right now. We don't know, but I think, I think we're maybe some politics are being played there. Maybe he's not really as badly hurt as maybe the public thinks he is. He's going to be okay. So I don't know how desperate they are really. And in Kellen Moore's first year, does he just want to attach himself to maybe a quarterback he doesn't love, but just, we need a quarterback, so we're gonna take one no matter what? I think they're all fair questions. I think that's what's really interesting about it. And like you're saying, and we got to add Jalen Milroe. Like I said, those three with a similar grade, and then you add Jalen Milroe to the conversation, and you go, wait, you could be sitting there at the end of the first round going, well, there's 4 quarterbacks left. So what if somebody gets one of them, and I'm the Browns, and I get the second pick of the second round? So what? Someone got one. We got 3 other grades on these guys that are very similar. So we're not going to do that. And the other thing I would say too, Mike, because from what I hear, right, the grades aren't spectacular for these guys. And they're not exactly, definite first rounds, kind of second round grades throughout the league. Here's the other thing I'll throw at you. Do you really, if that's the grade you have on the quarterback, do you really want to trade future assets, another first-round pick, for a guy that you have a second-round grade on or a low first-round grade on to get back into the first round and go, let's waste 2 picks on a guy that we actually don't think is a first-round talent? That, to me, when you say it out loud and they're just going through scenarios, that continues to pop in my brain here, and I don't know what you think about that, but it's definitely something that percolates with me a little bit.
I think you're right, and I also think the contours of each specific class would drive what it would take to trade up, trade down, whatever. In a year like this where you get the impression that once you get past the guys that are first-round worthy, there's a larger cluster of guys that are second-round worthy.
Yeah, right.
Howie Roseman said he doesn't have 32 guys with first-round grades.
I saw that, right.
It could be that he's got 50 guys with second-round grades.
I think that's what it is, Mike. I think it's a year, and I know you've seen my notes and stuff. I've said this on my podcast a little bit. I feel like I've written 25 to 45, 30 to 50, right? That's how I generalize people in the draft as I watch them, right? I'll watch them, I write a page of notes, and at the bottom I go, I think he goes somewhere 35 to 50 or 35 to 55, right? Somewhere in that range, depending on, because you know how it is, the draft, 1-2 things happen weirdly, and the whole thing can get blown out of whack. But yes, I feel like, I was telling my dad last night, I feel like I wrote 30 to 50 or 40 to 60 or 45 to 60 120 times, right? And there's only 30 picks there. So I think that's what you're talking about, Howie Roseman, and what he's discussing. I know Sean Payton made a comment last week, right? I read it on Pro Football Talk where he was saying,
thank you very much.
We love the second and third round guys this year in the draft. He made that comment, and I think there's a lot of value there to be had, and I do think that's a big part of this, Mike.
So tying together some of the things we said when the list of the 17, now 16 attendees of the draft first came out, maybe, because we said initially, like a Jalen Milroe, if you accept, you get a little buzz,
right?
And maybe one of these owners starts thinking, all right, maybe Milroe could be a guy we consider regardless of what the objective analysis and debate and discussion would say. So maybe Dart has figured out how to have it both ways. I say I'm going to go. I get a little short-term bounce. Some of these owners start saying, Jaxson Dart, I like the cut of his jib. And then you let that die down. You let that take root, and you exit stage left, and you don't go. That may be a new way of doing it. You accept long enough to get the bump in your perceived draft stock,
right?
And then you say, "Oh, sorry, I can't make it."
Yeah, maybe. And then we all wonder, like, oh, maybe he just wanted to be at home with his family. Maybe that's what it is. We're not sure. And again,
maybe he hurt his knee throwing an Nerf football.
Maybe, exactly. You never know. Exactly. He doesn't want to limp around the green room like that. but yeah, I mean, I know what I'm saying, and I could be wrong. Maybe someone does. Maybe the Steelers pick a quarterback at 21, and that starts a free-for-all for, oh, no, there goes one. We're scared now. And maybe does that mean the Giants and the Browns trade into the late first round and just make sure they get the guy who they want? I don't know. But I just feel like within my spidey senses and talking to people in football, yes, 9 Saints to me is like, what's going to happen there? And will Shedeur Sanders go off the board there? Because if he doesn't, I don't know what happens from there. And like you said, the Steelers, I think, is a very dicey situation. And I can certainly see them having a wink, nod deal with Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, then they don't want to confuse things more with maybe a quarterback that they don't love. And they just got burned in this type of scenario a few years ago with Kenny Pickett. So that's what's interesting about this whole thing. And you see the list there, and it's just crazy to only see one quarterback. We're not used to that.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.